For nearly 2 centuries, thousands of people across the greater Philadelphia area have woken up to the same routine: get ready for work, head to the train station, and catch the Paoli Thorndale Line into the city. But on April 11th, 2025, SEPTA announced a $213 million budget deficit and admitted that without proper funding, they'd be forced to make major cuts and increase fares. Among these cuts was a proposal to cancel the Paoli Thorndale Line, which would affect nearly 24,000 people who rely on it every day. During the pandemic, SEPTA received temporary federal funding to help cover its losses. That money kept the system stable for a few years, but it eventually ran out. At the same time, ridership dropped, which meant less fare revenue coming in. On top of that, increases in fuel, labor, and maintenance costs made it even more expensive to operate.
It's hard to miss. There were signs everywhere. So my feeling was this is not good, and they're obviously targeting this line because they know this is where lots of professional people riding out of the city and who will most likely have the political will and time to make a clatter.
When the federal relief money ran out, SEPTA faced a huge gap in its operating budget. Each year, they are legally required to present a balanced budget, which means they can't spend more than they bring in. With ridership still low and costs rising, they were left with no choice but to make changes. They proposed cutting service by up to 45%, and this involved eliminating dozens of bus routes, scaling back rail, metro, and tram service, and eventually cutting several regional rail lines. They also planned a fare increase to help cover lost revenue, and temporarily paused hiring and postponed other projects to save money, leading to even more issues. All 411 of their commuter rail cars are over 50 years old. Most trains are only expected to last 30 to 40 years, so these are running far past their intended lifespan. SEPTA has acknowledged this, and they've said they've done a lot to make sure they last longer than they were originally intended. Without an adequate amount of money to maintain them all, small issues began to slip through the cracks. One by one, cars began failing inspections, and they were forced to be decommissioned until they were fixed. But with fewer cars, trains were more overcrowded and delayed, and riders were feeling these problems every day.
Marion is particularly can be frustrating because if the train fills up before then, it will just fly right by you. Okay. And they don't tell you that. So you're waiting, and they delay, and until they fly past you, you're like, that was my train, and now I have nothing. And at least if they had told you, you could plan. So it's having fewer trains, less predictability already makes it very frustrating to I've had to take meetings at the wrong time, the wrong place. It's very unpleasant.
As riders continued to deal with these problems, the cuts were getting closer. But before they went into effect, the state stepped in. Governor Shapiro allowed SEPTA to use almost $400 million from his capital budget just to keep the system running. This prevented the worst cuts, including the plan to cancel the Paoli Thorndale Line, and kept service going for the next 2 years. For now, SEPTA's in a better spot, but it won't last long. The temporary funding keeps things operating, but it still doesn't solve the bigger issue. SEPTA doesn't have steady, reliable funding. If lawmakers don't come up with a long-term solution, the same service cuts, delays, and uncertainty can come back. What happens from here will show if this was a start of real change or just another short pause before the same issues return.
My voice, said it's that one legit. Cash in the back, sleeping,